a finished book, we don't see the blood, sweat, tears, money, hours, resources that goes into that. Mm-mm. And when you're writing it, this is your first book, you're thinking, man, am I the only one that's ever experienced this? No, not at all. Not at all, but because nobody's talking about that.
And that's where it's helpful if other business owners or gurus or whatever do talk about the struggles, because then when you're going through something similar, you're like, oh, they went through it too. It's not
but
just
I'm going to
me.
argue that most people aren't doing that. I'm
doing what?
I'm going to say that we call it transparency, and everybody wants to say they're transparent, but we're still getting that portion of their lives that is, nobody's going to put the funeral up on Instagram.
Hope not.
No.
I hope not.
And only your crazy friends are the ones that are on Facebook saying, feeling sad, I think I'm going to kill myself today. That you don't see that unless somebody needs attention. Certainly somebody with money on the line is not going to do that.
Yeah, I think most of these people, including us, I mean, you paint the picture of how you want to be seen. And that's just how it's been done.
We're marketing people. That's our job.
That's your job.
You're accentuating. You're like a push-up bra. You're accentuating the good parts. Exactly.
It's there. You're just accentuating the good parts.
You're just making it more curvaceous.
But I think there are good points. There's a good reason to be more transparent and to put more of yourself into your business and into your marketing, because I think people that are more like you are going to relate to you.
Well, totally. Listen, I know a guy that used to have a stuttering problem. And if you heard him speak, he's a broadcasting guy. If you heard him speak, you'd say, what? I can't believe it. But when he tells that story of having a stuttering problem and always wanting to be on radio and learning how to deal with it, because it's not totally gone, but it's you wouldn't mention it, or you wouldn't think of it, rather, unless you were really listening for it. He completely connects with people, and it's inspiring. So I think that's where the transparency. So many people try to live this, flawless life, and they've got the what I call Christian singer hair, where it's like, this is maybe a Nashville thing. We're both in Nashville. We have all these Christian musicians that look flawless, right? But I think that's not something that people really, really connect to. I think they connect to the superheroes. The reason that Superman is interesting, kryptonite. At any moment, somebody could pull out some kryptonite and Superman goes down. Any moment. That's what makes him interesting, is his vulnerabilities.
Sure, but I think from the marketing standpoint, again, where do you find that balance? How do you decide, do I send out pictures of my kids? Do I send out pictures of my new boyfriend? I've recently gotten newsletters from a couple experts that I follow, and one of them, her email is meet my new boyfriend, and it's a picture of her and her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And another one, this lady had a photo shoot that she just got the photos back and sent out the new photos of her. And others, I've gotten pictures of people's...
Let's talk about the boyfriend example.
Okay.
All right. I knew a woman, kind of this guru kind of thing. I didn't actually follow anything that she was putting out. I guess she was like a blogger or some kind of expert, right? And I knew her from my project manager, was an associate. And she forwarded me this thing, and she said, man, this is going to not end up well. This chick went to Burning Man, met some dude, right? It's Burning Man. She met some guy. That right there is red flag. Maybe 2 red flags.
Yeah.
Double red flag.
Double red flag.
Then the next thing you know, the guy's moving in and she's getting married. All right?
Triple red flag.
Triple. It's not going to, that's kind of a rocky start, and it was really, really, really quick. And she was being totally transparent. She had this amazing experience. She wants to tell it to the world, as you can understand that, right?
So does that help her? Does that hurt her?
Well, here's the thing. It's like, she's putting it out there to the world, but everybody's kind of got that, I don't know. It's making us all feel a little bit uncomfortable by reading it, right? And, of course, the next year Burning Man comes around and they're already broken up, and she's got to get real with it, right? So I think you can be too transparent. I think the thing is that you got to go for it. I don't think you can be the Christian singer here, we'll call it, where everything is perfect and flawless, because you want to be like Superman. You want to have your vulnerabilities, the kryptonite, right? Just like a Christian singer doesn't like a wind tunnel, but
you have to put your personality out there.
Well, you got to do that, but here's the thing: it's got to be congruent. It has to be congruent with you, and I think for somebody to act like everything is perfect and here we go, and then you see something crash down like that, like this relationship, it's like, I think you would probably be better off and goes, hey guys, look, here's the deal. I went to Burning Man. I met some dude. I know sounds crazy, but I'm rolling the dice and I'm going for it. It's a little bit tough in love, right? But I'm just going to go for it. I hope it's an inspiration that you can't be afraid to screw things up. That's what I'm doing. I'll keep you posted. That's pretty honest, right? It's still transparent. The same thing is if you were a huge religious guy, right? The reason that we don't like religious evangelists, the guys like Ted Haggard or something, is because they're going and getting male escorts secretly while preaching against gay rights. That's kind of disturbing, right? But listen, if you really believe in something, and even if it's not something that I believe in, I'm going to be high-fiving you just because it has that congruency. So I think that's really kind of the litmus test to me. You can be as transparent as you want, as much as you feel. Don't be afraid to do it, but make sure that it's congruent.
And look at what is your purpose for putting something out there. I mean, you talked about with that girl and her crazy boyfriend from Burning Man that it made you feel uncomfortable. It might have totally connected with people. It's hard to say. So I think just looking at, okay, what's my purpose for putting it out here? Am I trying to get the people that like me to love me and just kind of isolate everybody else? Am I trying to connect more? Like, what am I trying to do? And find the balance within there, looking in the long term. So don't just look in the short term like, oh, something crazy happened, I need to email it to my list. Like, look in the long term, and as you said, be congruent.
And I think you have to do it without expectation. It's to take it back to that woman. You made me think about this, not really specifically her, but relationships. If you're doing something as far as putting yourself out there in the hopes of getting something in return, manipulating, managing, trying to get a reaction out of them that you might not otherwise by making your life look cool, well, in that case, there may be a problem. That's not really transparent, is it? Even if you really are spending a beach on Hawaii.
Spending a beach on Hawaii.
See, this is where my brain gets faster than my mouth, and I've got a big, fast mouth. Yeah. Spending time on a beach in Hawaii. See how one word can change everything?
I know. I think we need to go to that beach in Hawaii right about now. Like right now.
Right this instant.
Right okay, this instant. So we got to wrap up.
We're going to be off. We're on Instagram. You can see our transparent lifestyle. We're leaving for Hawaii.
Yes.
And we've got all sorts of awesome things that we do. We put our income report out. We live in a huge solid gold mansion, and I've got a solid gold car out front.
Yep. Mine's platinum.
Totally. Yep. I'm going to have to upgrade because it's making me very, very nervous to be one-upped by a female. It's a southern man in me.
You'll get unobtainium, that kind of car. And you'll drive it to the core of the earth. Nobody else saw that movie, so we're just going to leave that be.
Well, Laurel Staples, we're at redpodcast.com. And if you're listening and you have questions for me or Laurel.
We like questions.
We talk about all sorts of topics like this. This is the real deal, Laurel. This is
real.
How long have you been doing this entrepreneurship thing, doing the self-employed? You had a retail store. You owned an art gallery.
Yep. I got started in 2005.
2005?
2005, quit my job in 2007. Haven't gone back.
And I was about 10 years before that. So we've been at this for quite a while and in various aspects. And if you've got a question regarding the real deal, that's why it's called RED, Real Entrepreneurship Development.
We'll be transparent for you.
We'll be transparent for you. Yeah, we don't have any. Right now, we're not even selling anything. And I say right now because we might. That's being transparent.
Yep. It is.
So check us out online. Redpodcast.com is where to send the questions. Laurel, thank you, and thank you for listening. If you like it, tell a friend.
Thanks, David.